New features have been revealed for Madden NFL 17, and if you're a hardcore Madden fan, you'll either love it or be very skeptical. I got the details. What's going on? This is Brian Mazik, the sports video game journalist, and as I mentioned, Madden 17 is coming through with some really in-depth information about what they're doing to improve gameplay and realism. Now, I've gone on record to say how much I actually liked Madden 16. I thought it was moving in the right direction. Obviously not perfect, and as you can tell if you saw my Madden 17 wish list, there's still some things that I wanted to see the game address. Well, based off of the information that's been released on some recent deep dive blogs and some other information that EA has allowed out, some of those check boxes off of that wish list are going to be checked for me, potentially, if things work as they appear to be set to work. Now, one of the first things that Madden or EA is attempting to address is the money play. This has been something that has been present in Madden ever since the beginning of time. Everybody knows back in the day when you absolutely couldn't stop the slants. Nowadays it's really super hard to stop halfback tosses and even sometimes the halfback stretch, any run to the outside. Well, according to Rex Dixon, who is the executive producer of Madden, he spoke with Matthew Cato of Game Informer, and he said, what we'd like to believe is that we have built is a defensive counter for every single offensive concept that exists in Madden. So whatever, essentially, if this is correct, what Rex is saying is that everything you try to do in Madden, there is a counter for. Now, obviously, there's no defense that covers every aspect of the field that is totally impenetrable. But if you're getting killed over the middle deep in the intermediate passing range, there's a defense for that. So almost like everybody would say with Apple, there's an app for that. There's supposed to be a defense for that in the world of Madden. So we'll wait and see how that works. But my question was, how do you counter this stuff? Now, a lot of times I watch people and you see them playing the game and they're getting ripped to shreds by the same type of play. And the biggest reason is they don't know what play to call, right? They don't know how to counter it. Well, Madden this year, using their new aspect of their play calling menu, are going to have things called the run and pass counter. And those run and pass counters are going to be set up to say, hey, if you're getting killed in this area of the field, here's the plays, or here's the formations, or here's the sets to run to counter these plays. Now, some people might say, well, that's doing too much. That's giving the gamer or giving the user too much. You're almost like taking the controller out of their hand. I don't necessarily think that. What I think it's doing is it's not penalizing you as much for maybe not being as hardcore of a football person, because obviously you got to think about it. It's a business. Madden or EA doesn't want only hardcore football fans to play their game. That's probably not enough for them to make the profit that they want. And at the same time, by doing that to the play calling menu, you're teaching people the game of football. So if you have no idea what a cover 3 does, if you have no idea what QB contain is, if you have no idea what thunder means in the concept of a defensive play set, then this will help to teach you, because you will at least know which part of the field you're getting dominated in, and this will help you learn how to stop that. And then also, as you're watching real football on Saturdays and Sundays and Monday nights and Thursday nights, it seems like it comes on almost every night now, you'll know what type of sets teams should be running if they're getting beat in the same areas that you were getting beat. The other thing that they're doing to help the defense out, I believe, I think it sounds like a lot of things that are being done from the gameplay standpoint this year is to aid the defense, which I think makes sense because last year's game I thought really aided the passing game. So now it seems that defensive players are going to be smarter. They're talking about gap assignments for the first time ever in Madden. If you ever listen to announcers and analysts and football guys talk about football, especially from a defensive standpoint, you hear them talk about covering gaps. That is a primary responsibility for most of the time it's for guys in the front seven. You'll see it also with safeties who play in the box, who play as an extra run defender. Well, one of the things about playing gap assignments is if you look at the defensive line, you'll see there's gaps in between how the guys line up. Well, those linebackers are assigned to hitting and plugging those gaps against the run plays. That's what keeps running backs from sliding through holes that are created by the offensive line, so to speak. Another thing that you'll also see is you'll see it's a term, and Madden doesn't use this term, but I hear football players, and this is how I learned it years ago. It's called setting the edge. When you run a play to the outside, to the left or right of the tackle or tight end, the defense's responsibility is to get all the way outside to set the edge. So they're setting the edge, say, hey, this play doesn't go any further wide than I am. And it forces the running back or the ball carrier to come back inside. That was really very difficult to do in Madden in previous years. The only way you're going to set the edge is if you user controlled a linebacker or you user controlled a defensive lineman and you physically made him go ahead and set that edge. Well, in this year's Madden, they're saying that they're going to have what they call a force player, and the force player's job is to set the edge. But that's not it. The other aspect, the backside of that, is that once that edge is set and the ball carrier comes back inside, there has to be someone there to catch the cutback guy. Well, that also is said to be included in Madden 17. So we're getting kind of technical when it comes to defensive assignments and going more technical than we've ever seen Madden go this year. And we gotta kind of be impressed with it from a conceptual standpoint. Now, will it manifest itself in that way? We still have to wait and see. But as of right now, those things sound really good. I'm going to tell you about something else that sounds awesome. Now, you might be hearing about gap assignments. They even have now defensive linemen. You'll finally see nose tackles in 3-4 playing two gap. So essentially, Vince Wilfork, a guy like that, Casey Hampton back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, take on that initial brunt of attack from the offensive lineman. And as he holds his spot, he has to find out whether the run play is going to his right or to his left, because he's responsible for both gaps. So that's what a nose tackle, when you hear somebody say a two-gap defensive tackle, that's what they mean. That is supposedly going to be in Madden 17. So that sounds awesome too. But now you might be wondering, what's going to dictate how well a guy plays in that situation? Well, the play recognition attribute is not new to Madden, but I'll be honest, in previous years I've wondered how much does it actually matter. Well, this year they're saying that all those gap assignments, the way I'm going to talk about zone defenses, the way players react in certain defensive situations are going to be directly affected by the play recognition rating, which I think is potentially, you keep knowing, you keep hearing me say potentially, because I haven't played this game yet. Hardly nobody has, except for Dev Team and whoever has been fortunate enough to do some testing with it. But conceptually, all of this stuff sounds great, right? And I'll go far enough to say it sounds even better than the normal hype, because they're getting to some meat and potatoes types of things when it comes to football. And that, to me, is what's impressive. Now, in terms of the passing game, a lot of times, I'll say this for myself. I put guys in zones, and I'm like, okay, you're going to cover this area because this is where I believe this route is going. And the route does go there. But I'm looking at my computer-controlled teammate, and I'm like, you should have made a play on that pass. And he doesn't. Well, we found out in some of the literature that's been released for Madden 17 is that previously, players or defensive players in zone coverage could only cover 4 zones. Now it's been said that they'll cover 8, which now makes them react a little bit more realistically and more in the way that a human defender would act, especially if they have a high play recognition rate or play recognition attribute. So So that's another thing I can't wait to see. So obviously that's leading into the ratings are mattering more. But do they just matter on defense? No. Apparently we're hearing they're going to matter even more on offense. You may or may not have heard that ball carrier attributes and ball carrier ratings are going to take on a whole new importance, or whole new level of importance. So, and it's not just about how successful they are. It's even going to matter in the way they look on the field. So spins, jukes, stiff arms, truck movements, all of those different types of things. They've enhanced that concept as well, but all of those different types of things, yes, how you're rated is going to dictate how successful you are. It's going to be tiered now. So now you have the elite guys in terms of special ball carrier moves, and you got the moderate tier guys, and then you got the lower level guys. The guys at the elite level, they're obviously going to be more successful when they do their special moves, but they're also going to look different when they do them. It's going to be more explosive. The lower level guys, it'll still be okay, and if it's timed right, they say that it can still be effective, but it won't have the same level of explosion. Conceptually, that is dope, right? It's dope, but we don't know if it's going to really be as dope as it sounds, because it does sound, because Eddie Lacy, as great as he is and as nimble as he is for a big guy, his spin move can't look the same as LaShawn McCoy's. Marshawn Lynch's truck movement shouldn't look the same as Reggie Bush's truck movement, if you ever dare to truck with Reggie Bush. So, and obviously Marshawn Lynch retired, but you get what I'm saying. So there's also 4 different types of juke movements. So, or special moves. There's sprints, there's standards, there's precision, and then there's steerables. So not all of the special moves are steerable, and they all have their potential drawbacks and so on and so forth, but it's all dictated by skill level. The ability of the tacklers, the success is dictated by the ball carrier skill level, the ability of the tacklers around them, their position on the field, and their stamina. I love that. A guy who is not at full strength or close to full strength will not be able to, even if he's an elite guy in terms of ball carrier moves, he'll only be operating at that second tier unless he has all of his energy. That's really, really dope. Hope that's exactly how it sounds. Now, one new feature, there's 2 or 3 things that I'm still, even if it works exactly as it sounds, I'm still not sure I dig it, right? You got something called ball carrier cone, or action, or something, some sort of cone, right? It's called a new threat cone is what it's called. So essentially, you're running with the ball, a cone comes up, and it tells you what special moves are available to you in that particular situation. Now, I'm assuming it's going to be pretty quick, and we must say it's only on the rookie and pro levels. I'm sorry, it auto comes up on the rookie and pro levels. You can turn it off, from my understanding, which I think there was some confusion about that initially, but from my understanding, you can turn it off. You don't have to play with it. But I don't see myself enjoying that. I'll give it a look, because obviously I got to do that from a business standpoint. I have to review the product from front to back, and I have to try out the new features, even if they're not necessarily my cup of tea. But it doesn't sound like anything I'm gonna love. Sounds like, I don't know. I'm not feeling it so much. Now, one thing I am feeling is finally Madden 17 is said to have ball physics. We've all seen passes go up, and we've all seen it look like the ball didn't actually hit the receiver's hands, and then all of a sudden, whoop, it's in there in his hands. And like, how did that get there? Whatever. Went through defender's hands, whatever. Now, apparently, the ball must actually hit the receiver's hands. There is no more pathing or path tracking or path scripting, I think is the term they used for the flight of the ball. The ball is going where it's going. If it hits the receiver's hands, he makes a catch. If not, it doesn't. One of the things on my wish list was, I thought that you should see more incomplete passes. I think you will see more incomplete passes if you get rid of the scripting. And it sounds as though that's what they've said that they've done. And ball physics are going to be huge in regards to that. We got to see what happens. Now, talking about something else that I don't know if I'll like, a new tackle button battle. So when your ball carrier gets engaged by more than one tackler, there's going to be a QuickTime button event that comes up on the screen. And if you hit the buttons in time, you'll have an opportunity to break this tackle. Now, the amount of time that it's on the screen is dictated by the skill level of the ball carrier and the skill level of the tacklers. I'm not digging. I don't know about that concept. They said that previously it was kind of totally ratings based, and it just either happened or it didn't happen based on the ratings. But now they're saying, essentially, we're giving you the controller back a bit in this situation. We're not going to necessarily allow you, just to let it happen to you. You'll have some say in it. But I'm worried about how that looks on the screen. I'm a big presentation guy. And if I'm in the middle of a football game, I don't know if I want a big X and Y and A and B or triangle and box and circle on the screen while I'm playing. That just seems like that'll throw me off a bit. Or not throw me off, but just ugly up my experience. And like I said, gotta test it out and see. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about here, you see it was a lot of stuff that came out. Also, the new gear is something else, Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, all types of gear. And you can surely see it in the screenshots that I've been showing you so far. But special teams has finally been addressed. I cannot remember any version of Madden ever that addressed special teams, but Madden 17 is going to do that. A new kicking meter, three-click kicking meter. The first click will start the meter. The second click sets the power, and the third click sets the accuracy. Very much like a golf meter in Tiger Woods, or not Tiger Woods anymore, but PGA Tour series from EA Sports. I like that. It's simple, but it does add a little bit of challenge to it because kicking had gotten kind of a little bit too easy. Because the only time you really were going to miss a kick is if it was just literally out of your kicker's range, because it wasn't really too hard to line it up. So I like to see that. Also, they're saying, and this was on my wish list as well, that you could finally block kicks. So they've said that they've put in a tuner to make sure that that's not exploited. And we'll see how that works, because that could be problematic. I could easily see some cheesers getting online and putting out a YouTube video to block a kick every time, turn around, spin around 10 times, punch your dog, call your cat, and you can block a kick, whatever. I can see people coming up with it, but we'll see if they can keep that aspect of it realistic. It's something that's been missing from the game for a long time. You can also do heavy kick block or heavy punt block formations that you stack one particular side or whatever. So, and they also have some new fake kick and punt formations and plays as well that they didn't have before. So I definitely like that. So overall, this game is sounding really, really solid. But we have to be very tentative and wait and see what happens with this. They said they're going to have a renewed approach for franchise mode. We haven't seen what that is yet. Obviously, you guys know I'm fired up about seeing what that means. But let's just hope, right? Let's just be positive. I'm a glass half full guy all the time anyway, for the most part. Just let's imagine what it would be like if this is what it sounds like, and they do something dynamic with the franchise mode that includes some enhanced presentation. And I mean, to be honest with you, they don't have to do much at all to MUT. MUT is already a beast, right? Madden 17 could be like the best Madden ever if what they're saying is true, which is a big if, because sometimes you can plan for something like this to work out, but you really don't know what it's going to do until you get it in the hands of everybody. Everybody gets to play it. People start doing different things that your testers didn't do that could either make or break your game. So you really don't know. But if it functions as it sounds, wow. We'll see what happens. I'm Brian Mazik. I appreciate you watching. If you have not yet subscribed and you dig sports video game news, you dig sports video game videos and real sports analysis, you should subscribe right now if you can. I appreciate it. Also, like this video, get it out there to other people who may want some information on Madden 17. I do appreciate you watching. God bless. Peace.